In news that will shock absolutely nobody, the boycotts against the LGBTQ, TGIF, ASAP, Toyota, Honda Civic, the boycotts against the Pride stuff at Target did actually have quite a bit of an impact financially. But in news that will shock everybody, the CEO full-on admits it. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and what a glorious day when the Target CEO is flat out admitting, yeah, they got us, they hit us where it hurt, our wallets. This coming from Newsweek. Target CEO admits Pride boycott worked. Oh, you love to see it, don't you? Target CEO Brian Cornell said on Wednesday that the boycott against the company's Pride Month merchandise contributed to a decline in sales during the second quarter. Cornell spoke during an investors call about Target's second quarter results when comparable sales declining by 5.4% and a decline in total revenue of 4.9% to $24.8 billion compared to last year. They had a, if I'm reading this correctly, and if I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments, I apologize, but they had a $25 billion decline compared to last year. Now, granted, we're also in a recession. There are other factors, not just like people out there being like, I hate the gays, and Target was like, we love the gays, and all of a sudden, the money's all gone. Like, no, that's not quite what happened. There are extenuating factors, but when the Target CEO comes out and just flat out says that was a contributing factor, that was part of it, you know that the culture war is swinging in a way that people like me that we appreciate. And once again, it's got nothing to do with hating the LGBTQ crowd. Far from it. It has to do with the fact that they're shoving it in the faces of kids and they're trying to indoctrinate children. And that's a problem because as this article goes on to say, they've been having Pride stuff for a decade. No one's boycotted them thus far, or at least, maybe some fringe right-wing Christians, the Westboro crowd and things like that. But as a whole, no one's cared. But they got awful ballsy these past, several months and tried to really get kids roped into it, and that's where people drew that fine line in the sand. Cornell said the inflation was one reason for a decline in sales during the second quarter, but also noted that negative guest reaction to our Pride collection also was a contributing factor. As you know, we featured a Pride assortment for more than a decade. Like you said, more than a decade. But this year it was a problem. Now, why was it a problem this year? Because it involved kids. That I feel like that's such an easy thing for individuals to say, hey, let's not do that. Let's not get little Timmy involved in dick sucking and things like that. Let's wait till he's at least, in college and he's trying to experiment a little bit and he has a little bit too much Jack Daniels with one of his male roommates that night, and then one thing leads to another, and your boy didn't go to college. This is not me, just, Anyway, he said, however, after a launch of the assortment this year, members of our team began experiencing threats and aggressive actions that affected their sense of safety and well-being while at work. So to protect the team in the face of these threatening circumstances, we quickly made changes, including the removal of items that are at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior. Now, let's roll it back here. Don't say to protect the team. The reason you did it is you were losing money. Like, you couldn't care less if 30% of your employees, black, white, gay, straight, whatever, dropped like flies dead on the ground as long as your pocketbook wasn't affected. That's what it was. Don't say, because we want to protect our team members. Nah, the only team member that you want to protect is that dollar sign, that nice Benjamin Franklin face on those green rectangles. So at least be honest, but whatever. I'll take what I can get when they're actually opening up and admitting that the boycotts did do something. The remarks by Cornell came after Target faced a boycott, mainly from conservatives, after the release of its Pride collection. Now, I'm getting real tired of this particular. This isn't, the CEO saying this. This is some editorialism from Newsweek. It ain't just conservatives. Your boy here is not conservative. I know a whole lot of people who are very upsetty spaghetti this particular, circumstance going on that are not conservative in the slightest. They're just well-meaning individuals who don't want kids involved in this sort of thing. It is that simple. People on the left, the right, straight up down the middle, they all agree. Leave kids out of it. So don't try and say that the boycott was mainly from conservatives. No. This is not a partisan issue. Now, vast majority of folks don't want little Susie learn about scissoring. It really is not a difficult concept. Many conservatives disagree with the LGBTQ plus items Target was selling for Pride Month, while Bud Light faced a similar issue after its decision to partner with Dylan Mulvaney, a loony influencer and activist. I know they want to say that, he's a trans, but I don't think he's a trans. I think he's just a great professional gifter with so many screws loose up top, but it's still not inhibiting his ability to make money and take advantage of these fools that think he's just the bravest ever. However, shortly after the boycott and criticism began against Target, the company issued a statement announcing the removal of some Pride items, which was the right thing to do, but it took them a lot longer to do it. During the call on Wednesday, Cornell spoke further about Pride Month at Target, saying, "Looking forward, we'll continue to celebrate Pride and other heritage moments." I don't, you guys know Pride isn't a heritage, right? Like, you're not just, well, maybe you are born gay, but you don't come from, like, a line of gay individuals on account of gay people can't procreate. It's not really a heritage thing, but anyway, which are just one part of our commitment to support diverse teams and guests. So yeah, they're going to continue to do Pride stuff, which, as long as they keep it away from kids, I'll be honest, I don't care about. Sell all the Pride shit you want, keep it away from kids. That being said, I think that's a big mistake given how the boycotts worked for you this year, and it's only going to be exacerbated in years to come, especially since Pride Month is now Pride, like, half year. It's every, it's like ramped up from the moment we have New Year's Eve. Like, oh, Christmas is over, Jesus' birthday, yeah, it's out the window. All right, let's go over to the homo halftime. Like, it's like 6 fucking months. However, as we navigate the ever-changing operating and social environment, we're applying what we learned to ensure we're staying close to our guests and their expectations of Target, Cornell added. So basically what he's saying is, hopefully what he's saying, I should say, we learned our lesson. We'll stop, forcing homo kid stuff, Pride stuff for kids down people's throats, and we'll just leave it towards adults. If that's the case, bro, that's fine. I'll be A-okay, like, do that. I'm still never shopping at your company again, but I'm sure there are several other people that will be like, yeah, as long as you keep it away from kids, that's okay. According to a press release following the investors' call, Target said that given the current sales trends in the second quarter, the company has lowered its full-year sales and profit expectations and is now forecasting comparable sales in a wide range around a mid-single-digit decline for the remainder of the year. So, yep. They've lowered their expectations. They know there is no way to hit the numbers that they thought they were going to hit pre-Pride issues. And that's, let's be honest, it's pretty damn good to see. Maybe this wasn't shocking to any of you, but it was absolutely shocking to me. Like, we all knew that the boycotts were hitting Target hard. It was very hard not to see that when you look at the numbers, when you look at the stock drops, when you look at the fact that they are being sued by one of their investors for how much money was lost given this entire LGBTQ ASAP TGIF debacle. But that being said, for them to actually come out, for the CEO to come out and admit it, which is effectively putting the power back in people's hands. Not in conservatives' hands, not in liberals' hands, in people's hands, because people are the ones that had to say, people are the ones that get to vote with their wallets. For the CEO to come out and say, you got us, that to me is huge. I don't want that to be undersold. Like, it's proof that this can work. We've been seeing it with Disney for over a year now. They lost almost $1 billion just in movies last year. But Super Mario Bros. Comes out, has not a shred of woke stuff in it, and makes $1.5 billion. Like, yeah, obviously you're going to have, Barbie, which is the outlier. Barbie is, from what I've heard, a pretty woke movie. I think the jury is still out on whether that's actually true. I'm very down the middle on Barbie. I don't think it's probably near as woke as everyone says. But the point is, yeah, Barbie is a toy that's been around since like the 50s. It's got a very, very large fan base. It's going to make money. But the vast majority of overly woke, feminist stuff like that, those things aren't making money. But Mario is. Disney isn't. Mario is. Baldur's Gate, it's making money, but it's also getting a lot of backlash. There's some real back and forth. There's a contentious, heated culture debate on the matter. Like, there's a lot of this stuff that does seem to be swinging in our favor. And who is our? I'm not saying conservatives, Republicans, because your boy ain't that. I'm somebody who wants to return to a sense of normalcy, where we can get on the internet and we can argue about, who is the best casting for, Doctor Strange or whatever, as opposed to, hey, should little girls the age of 9 years old be being taught about scissoring? Like, I feel like our debates and our arguments should be about stuff that have nothing to do with involving children in sexual acts. Do you want to have a discussion about regulation versus no regulation and taxes, high taxes versus low taxes, big government versus small government? Do you want to get into the political nitty-gritty of it? Bro, let's go for it. I'm all for it. Like, I'd love to have those sort of conversations. But let's leave kids out of it, especially when it comes to sexual acts. Like, it's really not a difficult thing to ask. And people have proven that they can handle these sort of corporations. They voted with their wallet, and the corporation admitted that the people won. That is massive. I mean, does no one else see this? I think that we're going to have so many more moments like this. When it comes to Sound of Freedom, when we see what's happening with Bud Light, this is indicative of a culture shift, and people just got to stick with it. I know it gets tiring to hear about all the time. Oh, the culture war. I know. But it's working. So just don't give up near the end. We are in the home stretch, I feel like. But those are just my opinions. I want to know yours. Let me know in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter, X, I guess now, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, now doing 2 videos a day. And while I know this video wasn't particularly nerdy, we do see this sort of culture infesting nerd culture as well. So I think it's very important that I acknowledge the 2 are linked, and when videos like this, when articles like this come out, yeah, they're worth covering. But that being said, check out both my videos dropping at 11 a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And until then, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.